Hello! We're excited to show you our native speech capabilities.
Yeah, seriously, if you've ever wanted to sound more natural in English, stick around. We're diving into phrasal verbs, fresh vocabulary, useful collocations, and some super practical grammar tips.
Exactly! So whether you're walking, cooking, or just chillin', grab those headphones.
And let's jump in and learn something new together.
Let's go listen.
Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive.
It's good to be back.
Today, we're plunging into a topic that affects every single one of us, often in surprising and, let's be honest, sometimes frustrating ways.
Absolutely.
We're talking about the fascinating world of memory.
Mm.
Have you ever spent what feels like an eternity searching for your phone, only to find it tucked away in the most bizarre spot, like, I don't know, the refrigerator?
Or the classic keys vanishing act, right when you need to leave.
Exactly. What is actually going on there?
It's truly a universal experience, isn't it? That little jolt of frustration, the sense of bewilderment. We've all been there.
Definitely.
Wondering why our minds play such tricks on us. But these seemingly small moments of everyday forgetfulness, they aren't just irritating.
No.
No, they're actually incredibly insightful. They offer us a direct window into the complex, often, well, quirky way our memory functions.
A window. I like.
And understanding them can transform those frustrations into genuine aha moments about how our brains truly work.
Absolutely. And that's really what we're here to unpack today. Our mission for this deep dive is to explore not just why we forget.
Which is a big question in itself.
Right. But perhaps even more importantly, how we remember, how we can maybe improve our recall, and even how different cultures approach this fundamental human faculty.
It's a big topic.
It is. We'll start by delving into those very personal, relatable moments when memory feels like it's, well, failing us.
Yeah, the tricky bits.
Then we'll navigate the rich vocabulary and grammar that surrounds memory. There's quite a lot there.
Mm-hmm.
We'll explore some practical insights that you can apply in your daily life. And finally, we'll take a sort of global look at how memory is approached in different cultures around the world.
Sounds like a great journey.
Our goal is to give you a comprehensive, yet hopefully engaging shortcut to being truly well-informed about this essential part of being human.
So let's begin right there, exploring those personal encounters with memory, particularly when our minds seem to have a mischievous streak, as you put it.
Because honestly, who hasn't experienced that brief moment of panic? You know, when you realize you've misplaced something crucial.
Oh, yes. Wallet, keys.
Your phone, that important document you just had in your hand.
Right. Where did it go?
It's a common thread that connects us all, and it serves as a powerful reminder that our memories, while incredibly powerful and often reliable, they're also surprisingly fallible.
And these moments, while irritating, are actually perfect little case studies for understanding memory.
Okay.
They highlight the intricate dance between three crucial stages: attention, encoding, and retrieval.
Attention, encoding, retrieval. Got it.
Often when we say we forgot something, it's not necessarily that the memory has simply vanished into thin air.
It didn't just disappear.
Not always.
Yeah.
Instead, it's more likely we failed to properly encode it in the first place.
Ah.
Or maybe our retrieval cues just aren't working in that particular moment.
So it's not just poof, gone, but more like we didn't file it correctly to begin with. Or maybe we can't find the right index card. Is that a fair analogy?
Precisely. Think of encoding as a process of converting information into a form that can be stored in your brain, like writing information into a book.
Okay.
If you scribble it illegibly or maybe on a page you'll never find again, it's not truly stored in an accessible way, right?
Right. Makes sense.
Then retrieval is like finding that specific book on a vast library shelf. If the librarian, which is your brain, in this case, doesn't have the right queue or a good filing system to locate it,
Yeah.
that information, even if it was encoded in some form, feels lost to you.
Ah, okay. So
Okay.
it might still be there, just
Yeah.
inaccessible.
Exactly. It's a dynamic three-part process, not just about putting things away and hoping they stay there.
That analogy makes so much sense. It helps visualize why some things stick and others just, well, they don't.
Mm-hmm.
And to truly illustrate this dynamic process, I actually have a story. It was incredibly stressful at the time, but it certainly burned itself into my memory.
Cool. One of those stories. Let's hear it.
This was a day I was in an absolute frenzy, rushing to get to school. I remember grabbing my backpack, hearing that satisfying click as I locked the front door.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was off, walking briskly down the street, feeling pretty good about my morning, actually.
The calm before the storm, perhaps.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
nailed it. Everything seemed fine until I was about halfway to school.
Oh.
I had this sudden, cold jolt of dread. It hit me like a ton of bricks.
What was it?
My homework. It was still sitting on the kitchen table, pristine and untouched, the one I had painstakingly finished the night before.
Oh, no.
My heart just sank. But I immediately turned around. There was still time, just barely, if I really hurried.
Okay. Recovery mode.
So I ran back, practically flying down the street, my mind already rehearsing the apology to my teacher, already calculating how much time I had left.
The adrenaline must have been pumping. Your focus just narrowed to that single urgent task.
Oh, absolutely. Total tunnel vision.
Yeah.
I reached my front door, breathless, already fumbling for my keys,
Right.
and that's when the second wave of panic hit.
Oh no, not the keys.
My pockets were empty, all of them. I patted every single one again and again, even though I knew there was nothing there. My mind raced, trying to retrace my steps from mere minutes ago, desperate to find the logical explanation.
This is where memory truly begins to play tricks under pressure. That immediate, intense stress of the forgotten homework likely consumed your working memory.
My working memory.
Yeah, the part that handles immediate tasks and decision-making. This overload would have made you highly susceptible to an oversight, like misplacing or forgetting the keys almost immediately after you last interacted with them.
So my brain just kind of dropped the ball on the keys because it was busy with the homework panic.
It's as if your brain said, one crisis at a time, and prioritize the homework, letting the keys slip from conscious awareness.
That's precisely what it felt like. My heart literally sank further, if that's even possible. And then, like a lightning bolt, the memory snapped into place.
Ah, the aha, or maybe oh no moment.
Totally. Oh, no.
Yeah.
I remembered I had left the keys inside the house.
And not just anywhere, but right there on the kitchen counter,
No.
next to the very homework I had just run back for.
Oh, the exquisite torture of realizing the solution was right next to the problem all along. So you're locked out, still no homework, and the clock is ticking for class.
Precisely. Locked
Right.
out, no homework, and literally 5 minutes until class started. Total disaster.
A truly high-stress situation. What did you do?
In a complete panic, I called my mom. She was at work miles away, and there was no way she could come home to let me in. The feeling of helplessness was just immense.
Right.
I ended up waiting outside my house for an entire hour, feeling utterly defeated, until my incredibly kind neighbor noticed my predicament
Oh, good neighbors.
and helped me call a locksmith.
Wow. What a harrowing experience. But it sounds like it had a profound impact.
You bet it did. From that day forward, I developed an unwavering habit. I always double check before leaving home.
The double-check ritual.
Keys, phone, wallet, backpack, a mental checklist every single time. It was a hard way to learn, absolutely. But that moment, that specific memory of being locked out and helpless truly stuck in my memory. It was, well, intensely vivid.
What you've described is a classic example of how high-stress situations can profoundly impact our immediate memory and decision-making processes.
Yeah, it really scrambled things.
And the emotional intensity of being locked out, combined with the stress, effectively etched that specific memory into your mind. Psychologists refer to these intensely vivid, detailed, and long-lasting memories of emotionally significant personal events as flashbulb memories.
Flashbulb memories, like a camera flash.
Exactly. It's as if a powerful flash of light illuminates the scene, capturing every detail, or at least it feels like it does.
It certainly feels etched. I can still feel the frustration. But if these emotionally charged memories are so vivid, does that mean they're always perfectly accurate? Or could the very intensity of the moment actually maybe distort some details, even as it makes them unforgettable?
That's a crucial question, and a really insightful one. While flashbulb memories are remarkably vivid, and people report high confidence in their accuracy,
Right. I feel like I remember it perfectly.
research actually shows they can be prone to errors and distortions over time, much like ordinary memories.
Really? So even those super strong memories might not be quite right.
Exactly. The vividness often comes from the emotional encoding, making them feel more accurate, but the details can still shift or get mixed up over time. It highlights that even our most powerful memories aren't necessarily perfect recordings,
Wow.
which is a fascinating insight into the reconstructive nature of memory itself. Our brains aren't video recorders. They rebuild memories each time we recall them.
That's mind-blowing. So memory is less like playback and more like rebuilding the scene each time.
In many ways, yes. And that enduring lesson, the double-check habit you formed, that's a perfect illustration of what psychologists call negative reinforcement.
Negative reinforcement. Sounds bad.
Well, the negative part just means removing something unpleasant. The unpleasant consequence of being locked out solidified that specific preventative behavior. Removing the locked out feeling by double-checking reinforces the habit.
Ah, I see. So the unpleasantness taught me the habit.
It's a powerful learning mechanism, almost an evolutionary trick, ensuring we adapt to avoid future pain or trouble. It makes you wonder, doesn't it, what similar lessons learned the hard way you, our listener, might have experienced.
Yeah, everyone has those moments.
Those moments that were tough, but which led to lasting changes in your behavior or maybe your own memory strategies. Everyone has at least one, and they really are powerful insights into how our personal memory works.
That's a powerful point about how experiences shape our habits. And it makes me think about how we even talk about these moments, because our language around memory is surprisingly rich and nuanced, isn't it?
It absolutely is. Our language provides this rich tapestry to articulate the various states and actions related to memory. It really reveals how deeply we understand its complexities, maybe even intuitively.
So where do we start with that? The basics.
Let's start with some of the foundational vocabulary. At its core, we have the verb to forget. Simple enough, right? It just means to not remember something.
Like, I sometimes forget people's names right after I've been introduced. Happens to me all the time.
Exactly. It implies a lack of recall, an absence of information when you need it, often unintentionally.
And its powerful opposite, to remember, which means to keep something in your mind, or maybe to actively bring it back to mind. Like, I remember my first teacher vividly. There's an active quality to remembering, wouldn't you say? A conscious retrieval or a spontaneous presence in your awareness.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. It contrasts sharply with the more passive state of forgetting.
Okay.
And then there's the noun memory itself. This word is incredibly versatile.
How so?
Well, it can refer to the overall ability to remember your memory faculty, as in, his memory is incredibly strong for details.
Right. Like someone has a good memory.
Exactly. But it also refers to a specific instance of recall, like, I have a happy memory of that sunny day.
Ah, so it's the ability and the specific thing remembered.
Precisely. It's both the grand faculty of recollection and the individual snapshots from our past.
And where does all this remembering and forgetting happen? We say it's in our mind, right?
Yes, the mind. The part of us that thinks, feels, and of course remembers. We even personify it in common idioms.
Like when something just slipped my mind.
Exactly. It suggests the mind is this entity that can, almost playfully, let information escape its grasp. It often implies an unintentional oversight rather than, a deeper problem.
Yeah, it feels less serious than saying I forgot.
It does. And if something has slipped your mind, you might need someone to remind you.
Ah, yes. Remind.
To remind means to help someone else remember something. So you might say, can you remind me to call Mom later this evening?
So the action is on the helper, not the person remembering.
Correct. The action is on the part of the person assisting with the recall, distinct from the act of remembering personally.
That's a crucial distinction, and one people mix up sometimes. Now, when we forget where we put something, especially something we can't find, we often say it's lost. Lost. Oh no, I lost my keys again. This implies not just a failure of memory, but often maybe a failure of attention when we put them down.
Exactly. We weren't paying enough attention when we put them down, and now we can't retrieve that location information. It's a memory lapse, yes, but often linked to how we originally processed or didn't process the information.
Right. Didn't encode it well.
Precisely. And then there's recall, which is often a more formal or deliberate act of bringing back a memory.
How's that different from remember?
Well, remember can be spontaneous. A scent brings back a childhood moment effortlessly, right?
Yeah.
Recall is often when you're staring at someone, racking your brain, trying to search through your mental database for their name.
Ah, that feeling.
It implies a more conscious effort to retrieve information, sometimes information that isn't immediately at the forefront of your mind. For example, I can't recall his name, even though I know I've met him before.
So it's that active, deliberate effort that distinguishes recall. Like the brain is working hard running a mental search query.
That's a great way to think about it.
So if remember is like when a song just pops into your head, recall is when you're actually trying to dig up the lyrics.
Perfect analogy. That makes perfect sense.
Okay. And for all of that to even begin, we need what you touched on earlier, focus.
Absolutely, focus.
To focus means to pay attention. It's hard to focus when you're tired or distracted. This seems so basic, but it's critical, isn't it?
It's fundamental. Because the initial encoding of information, truly getting it into your memory system in the first place, absolutely requires focus. Without it, later recall becomes incredibly difficult, if not impossible.
It's like the gatekeeper for memory, if you don't let it in properly.
It won't be there when you need it, absolutely. The foundation for strong memory is strong initial attention.
Okay, so that's the core vocabulary. But you mentioned combinations of words, too. Collocations.
Yes, collocations. These are words that naturally go together, and they help us describe memory in even more nuanced ways, painting a much richer picture than single words alone.
Right, like when we say someone forgets things easily.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This describes someone who is generally prone to absent-mindedness, perhaps misplacing items regularly or forgetting appointments. He forgets things easily, like where he parked his car in a busy mall. It points to a kind of general tendency.
Not just a one-off instance.
Correct. And on the proactive side, we have keep in mind.
Ah, yeah, I use that one.
It's a phrase we use for gentle reminders or to suggest something should be actively considered for future action. Keep in mind the meeting is at 3 p.m., so plan your lunch accordingly. It's about maintaining a piece of information in active awareness, ready for future use.
Holding it there intentionally. What about when someone's really good at remembering?
We say they have a sharp memory. Like, she has a sharp memory for faces and names. It's quite impressive. This highlights a high level of accuracy and readiness in their recall.
Like their mental filing system is perfectly organized?
Sort of, yes. But memories aren't static, are they? They change.
True.
So we often say a memory fades. This illustrates how memories can become less clear, less detailed, or even seem to disappear entirely over time. As the years pass, the vividness of the memory fades.
Like an old photograph losing its color.
That's a perfect image for it. It describes the natural, almost inevitable process of memory decay, where details become blurred or lost.
But then sometimes things can just trigger a memory out of nowhere, right?
Absolutely. External stimuli can powerfully bring back memories.
Like a smell or a song.
Exactly. That old scent of freshly baked bread instantly brings back memories from my grandmother's kitchen. It describes how a smell, a sound, a picture, or a taste can suddenly trigger a vivid and often emotional recollection, almost like a time machine for your mind.
I love that. A time machine for your mind. Okay, what about learning things deliberately?
That's the act of memorizing something. This isn't spontaneous recall. It's the intentional, often effortful act of committing information to memory for later retrieval.
Like studying for a test.
Precisely. I had to memorize a long poem for my literature class last semester. It highlights a conscious strategy for retention, often involving repetition or specific techniques.
And when you succeed, and the memory is super clear.
We say you remember vividly. I remember vividly the day I got my first bike. The excitement, the bright red color, the feel of the handlebars. This implies a sensory richness and strong emotional connection to the memory. Makes it feel almost as if you're reliving it.
You can almost taste it or feel it again.
Exactly. And finally, a delightful collocation. A trip down memory lane.
Ah, yes, looking at old photos.
It refers to that nostalgic look back at the past, often by reviewing old photos, listening to specific music, or telling stories with friends. Last night we pulled out the old photo albums and took a wonderful trip down memory lane. It's often a comforting, sometimes emotional activity of shared reminiscence.
It's pretty amazing how these phrases just nail all the different facets of memory.
Isn't it?
How strong it is, how long it lasts, what kicks it off, how it makes us feel, even the hard work we put into remembering sometimes. Our language really has a special knack for capturing memory, doesn't it?
It really does.
What does this depth of language tell us about how humanity perceives and interacts with memory itself? Does it say something deeper?
I think it absolutely does. It tells us that memory isn't just seen as a biological function,
Right.
but as a deeply human, culturally significant experience.
Okay.
The very fact that we have such a rich and nuanced vocabulary to describe it, from its strengths and weaknesses to its emotional impact and deliberate cultivation, suggests a profound human fascination with this internal world.
We're obsessed with it, maybe.
In a way, it speaks to our constant attempt to understand, control, and even share this elusive faculty. We recognize its central role in our identity, our learning, and our connection to the past and each other.
Fascinating. And the language of memory doesn't stop there. We also use phrasal verbs, right? Those verb-preposition combos.
Absolutely. These combinations of verbs and prepositions or adverbs add further layers of meaning, often describing the action or direction of memory.
Okay, give me an example.
For instance, look back on. This means to think about the past, often with a sense of perspective or nostalgia, perhaps reflecting on how much you've grown or changed.
Like, I look back on my college days with immense fondness.
Exactly. It suggests a reflective, often positive, mental revisiting, appreciating what was.
And closely related is think back, isn't it? How's that different?
Think back implies a more conscious effort to remember something specific from the past. It's more active retrieval.
Oh.
Like, think back to when we first met at that conference. What was your first impression? It implies a deliberate mental search, a focused attempt to retrieve a specific past event, rather than just a general reflection.
Got it. More targeted.
Yes. Then there's bring back, which we touched on with collocations, but as a phrasal verb, it specifically refers to causing a memory to return, often triggered by a sensation or object.
So the trigger is key.
Right. That familiar scent of freshly cut grass always brings back memories of summer vacations as a child. It highlights an external stimulus as the direct catalyst for recall, that powerful sensory link.
Now, here's one with a different connotation. Block out.
Block out.
This means to intentionally try not to remember something, usually something painful or unpleasant, right?
Correct. After the accident, she tried to block out the bad experience, focusing only on her recovery. This phrasal verb acknowledges our psychological coping mechanisms.
Can we actually do that, though? Really block something out?
Well, the effectiveness of truly blocking out memories is is a complex area in psychology. It's often more about suppressing conscious recall, pushing it away, rather than literally erasing the memory trace from the brain. Those memories can often resurface later.
Right, okay. That makes sense. And finally, a very common and relatable one. Slip your mind.
Ah, yes, the classic excuse.
Totally. It means to forget something unintentionally, usually something minor or a task you meant to do.
Like, I'm so sorry, I meant to call you back, but it totally slipped my mind with everything else going on.
Exactly. It's often used in a casual, apologetic way. It implies an inadvertent oversight rather than, a deliberate act of forgetting or a sign of a serious memory deficit.
It softens the blow of forgetting.
It does. These phrasal verbs truly give us a powerful way to convey the different levels of conscious control we have or don't have over our memories.
Yeah, from deliberate reflection to involuntary forgetting and that active process of memory evocation, they capture the dynamic nature of how our brains handle information.
But even with all this rich vocabulary, it's easy to stumble over common linguistic pitfalls when talking about memory, isn't it? Making little grammar mistakes.
Absolutely. Precision in language, especially when discussing complex cognitive processes like memory, is really key to clear communication.
So people understand what you actually mean.
Exactly. Using the right words in grammar ensures you're understood exactly as you intend. Let's look at some common grammatical errors and how to correct them, exploring why these corrections are important for clarity.
Okay, hit me. What's a common one?
A very frequent one is using the wrong tense. For example, hearing someone say, "I forgot my keys yesterday."
Ooh, yeah. That should be, "I forgot my keys yesterday."
Right. Why?
Because forget is the present tense for now or habits. Forgot is the past tense for something that already happened. Yesterday is definitely in the past.
Precisely. It's a simple shift from present to past tense, but it makes all the difference in conveying when the action actually happened. Without it, you could be talking about a daily habit, or a one-off past event creates confusion.
Okay, what else?
Another common slip involves prepositions. You might hear, "I have a bad memory in names."
That sounds a bit off. It should be for names.
Exactly. I have a bad memory for names. The preposition for, in this context, correctly expresses the object or area of the memory. It indicates what your memory is good or bad at.
Whereas in names, sounds like your memory lives inside the names or something.
Right, it doesn't quite fit. For clearly defines the scope of the memory skill or lack thereof.
Got it. And this one is crucial for clarity, I think. I can't remind his name. I hear this sometimes.
Yes, that's a very common mix-up. Why is it wrong?
Because remind means to cause someone else to remember something or to bring something to their attention. If you are personally trying to recall something, the correct verb is remember. So it should be, "I can't remember his name."
Perfect. This distinction between causing recall on another person versus recalling personally is absolutely vital for avoiding misunderstanding. It's a very common error, so definitely one for listeners to pay close attention to.
Okay, what's next on the grammar hit list?
How about the infinitive form with certain verbs? You might hear, "This music makes me to remember school."
Yeah. Feels a bit clunky. Should be.
Yeah.
Makes me remember school. Without the two.
Exactly. This music makes me remember school. The verb make, when followed by an object, me, and then another verb, remember, uses the base form of the second verb, the bare infinitive, not the to infinitive.
Just one of those English grammar rules you have to learn.
It is. It's a specific rule for how make functions. When describing causation, the music causes the remembering.
Okay. And finally.
Expressing ability. It's often said, perhaps by learners, "He is good to remember things."
Right. Again, sounds a little off. We'd say he's good at remembering things.
Precisely. The correct idiom for expressing proficiency or skill is good at, followed by a noun or a gerund, the ing form of a verb. So, he is good at remembering things.
It specifies the particular skill or activity someone excels in.
Exactly. rather than suggesting a general condition like good to remember.
These might seem like subtle differences, maybe even nitpicky to some.
But they matter.
Yeah, mastering these nuances allows for much clearer and more effective communication about these complex cognitive processes. It helps you articulate precisely what you mean about your own memory or someone else's, avoiding misunderstanding.
It's a testament to how language, in its precision, shapes our very thoughts about these internal functions. Without these distinctions, discussions about memory would quickly become muddled.
Absolutely. It's about being understood with precision. Okay, so now that we've explored the language of memory, both the good and the tricky bits, let's see it in action in some real-life scenarios. Let's demonstrate not just the vocabulary, but also the practical aspects of how memory functions between people.
Sounds good. Let's maybe listen to a natural conversation. Imagine a dialogue between, say, Nina and Jake, discussing a past trip they took together. Listen for how they interact with each other's memories. Nina might say, "Do you remember our trip to the mountains last year?"
And Jake could reply, "How could I forget? That was absolutely amazing. The views were breathtaking."
Then Nina prompts, "You lost your backpack that day, remember? The one with all our snacks."
Jake, maybe after a pause, "Oh, right, I totally forgot about that. But we found it near the river eventually, thankfully. That was quite a scare, though."
Nina adds, "I still have the photo of us eating marshmallows by the campfire."
Jake. That brings back such good memories. We should go again soon.
Nina, maybe. My memory isn't as sharp as yours for those kinds of big events.
And Jake concludes, "Maybe, but you always remember where we parked, which is way more useful in the moment."
So, what do we see happening there?
Well, that's a lovely, authentic-sounding exchange. It immediately highlights the social nature of memory, doesn't it?
How so?
Jake's initial strong, positive recall, "How could I forget? That was amazing," shows that overall positive, maybe flashbulb-like memory of the trip.
The general feeling.
But then Nina prompts his memory with a specific, slightly less pleasant detail, the lost backpack.
And that prompting is crucial. People often prompt each other's recall, don't they? Sharing cues and details, helping to reconstruct events together.
Yeah, building collective memories.
Jake successfully retrieves that specific detail. "Oh, right, I totally forgot about that, but we found it near the river." This shows memory is often collaborative, not just an isolated individual process.
And the photo she mentions.
Exactly. The shared photo acts as an external cue, triggering a vivid emotional memory for Jake. That brings back such good memories. These external aids, like photos or souvenirs, are powerful shortcuts for our brains.
It also perfectly illustrates what you might call complementary memory within a relationship or group.
Complementary memory, I like that. Explain.
Well, Nina might assess her overall memory as not as sharp as Jake's for the grand events, the big picture stuff.
Right.
But Jake points out her specific practical strength. Maybe, but you always remember where we parked.
Ah, the vital parking spot memory.
Exactly. This is a powerful insight. In relationships or groups, different individuals often excel at remembering different types of information. One person might remember the overall experience, another the specific logistical details, another the emotional tenor of an event.
So together, they create a more robust collective memory system. Individuals almost offload different memory tasks onto each other.
Yeah, like distributing the load.
This collective memory is incredibly efficient. It allows groups and couples to leverage diverse memory strengths, almost like having a distributed cognitive system.
Like a team brain.
Kind of. It's a powerful example of how memory extends beyond individual cognition into our social interactions, and how we rely on each other to form a complete picture of shared experiences.
So we've seen memory in conversation, but beyond just talking about it, how do we actually apply these insights to our daily lives? Let's consider a practical scenario we've all probably faced or dreaded facing. What happens when you forget something truly important, and how do you resolve it?
This is a great exercise because it forces you to reflect on those high-stakes moments of forgetting and the strategies you employed, maybe under pressure, to overcome them. Let's look at a sample solution provided in our sources. Imagining someone was asked to write about a time they forgot something important.
Okay, what's the scenario?
It begins. One day I forgot to bring my passport to the airport.
Oh, the absolute horror. Realizing something like that at the airport, especially for international travel, that's peak stress right there.
It's a classic high-stakes scenario, isn't it? Much like your forgotten homework and keys, but maybe even higher stakes. The immediate impact of forgetting in such a situation is immense, triggering that cascade of stress hormones.
Your brain probably goes into overdrive or maybe just shuts down.
Exactly. However, the response in this sample is key. It continues. I panicked but stayed calm.
Easier said than done.
For sure. But it demonstrates a vital skill. Self-regulation in a crisis. Despite the internal alarm bells ringing loudly, the individual managed to engage their prefrontal cortex.
The thinking part of the brain.
Right, the part responsible for executive functions like planning and problem solving. They managed to maintain a level head rather than succumbing to pure panic. This is crucial for accessing effective solutions. You can't think straight when you're just panicking.
And that calmness, or at least the ability to override the panic, is what allows for effective problem solving. What did they do?
The story goes, I called a friend who had a key to my apartment. He rushed to my place, found my passport, and brought it to me just in time.
Thank goodness for friends with keys.
Absolutely. This highlights resourcefulness, the importance of quick thinking, and the value of having a reliable support system. Often, it's not just raw memory that saves the day, but our ability to react strategically and leverage our network.
That's a really good point. It's not just about remembering better, but about having backup plans and knowing who to call.
Precisely. And the lasting impact is just as significant as in your story. It was a stressful experience, but now I always triple check my travel documents.
The triple check. An upgrade from my double check.
It reinforces the theme we discussed earlier, how significant negative experiences, especially those tied to inconvenience or potential disaster, lead to the development of robust preventative strategies.
Yeah, you really don't want that to happen again.
Exactly. Like your double check habit, this becomes an even more stringent triple check. These habits are powerful, often automatic, ways to offload memory burden. Your brain learns, this was painful, let's automate a solution to never let it happen again. It effectively rewires your behavior to avoid a repeat performance.
It truly shows how memory isn't just about what we recall, but how we adapt and learn from our moments of forgetting. It encourages us, our listener, to think about their own triple check habits, maybe. Or perhaps to start developing new ones based on past lessons learned the hard way.
These aren't just quirks, they're sophisticated learned survival strategies in a way.
Absolutely. Okay, moving beyond individual strategies and horror stories, it's fascinating to see how cultures around the world approach memory. It's not the same everywhere, is it?
Not at all. From modern technological aids to ancient traditions passed down through generations, the approaches vary significantly.
That's right. In many Western cultures, there seems to be a strong emphasis on individual cognitive performance, right? And maybe a reliance on technology or simple tools to augment personal memory.
Definitely. We see the popularity of memory games and brain training apps, things like Lumosity or Elevate. The idea is often pitched that they can somehow sharpen your mind, almost like a mental workout at the gym.
Keep the brain fit.
That's the marketing, yes. This often goes hand in hand with practical external reminders. In the US, for example, it's incredibly common to make digital to-do lists on phones or to use physical sticky notes plastered on computer screens or refrigerator doors.
Guilty as charged on the sticky notes front.
Me too. These are essentially external hard drives for our brains, aren't they? Offloading the need to remember every single detail of our busy schedules. We externalize our memory, trusting the technology or the paper to hold the information for us.
Like outsourcing brain power.
In a sense. And on a more personal level, some people keep detailed journals or memory books. This practice of personal archiving allows individuals to document their experiences, thoughts, reflections.
Creating a tangible record.
Exactly. A record of their past that can be revisited later. It's almost like creating your own personal history book, a curated collection of your life's moments, rather than relying solely on the brain's often fallible organic memory.
So, this Western approach seems to lean heavily towards individual augmentation of memory, often through technology or personal systems.
It does. And it raises interesting questions, particularly about the efficacy of those brain training apps. The scientific consensus on their long-term benefits for general cognitive improvement is still, well, debated.
They don't necessarily make you smarter overall.
They might make you better at the specific tasks within the app, but there's less evidence they significantly transfer to broader cognitive skills in everyday life. It encourages us to be critically evaluative of such tools, rather than just accepting the marketing claims at face value.
Good point. Now, if we look elsewhere, say Japan, for instance, our sources mention a different emphasis, particularly in educational settings.
Yes, students there frequently use specific memorization techniques called mnemonics to remember facts, often driven by academic rigor.
Mnemonics. We've touched on that word. What exactly are they again?
Mnemonics are incredibly powerful tools, and they have a long history, actually. They are essentially tricks or systems designed to help you remember information, often by creating associations, patterns, rhymes, or acronyms that are easier to recall than the original data.
Can you give a classic example?
Sure. A classic one, widely used in English-speaking countries for learning the planets in order from the sun, is the sentence, "My very eager mother just served us nachos."
Ah, yes. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. The first letter of each word cues the planet.
Exactly. It's a brilliant example of how a simple, maybe slightly silly phrase can unlock a sequence of information. And it's not just for planets. Mnemonics are universally applicable.
For what else?
Musical notes, historical dates, scientific classifications, vocabulary, even points in a speech. They exploit the brain's natural tendency to remember patterns, stories, and visual or spatial associations more easily than raw, abstract data.
So it's about making the information more brain-friendly.
Precisely. Think of ancient techniques like the method of loci or the memory palace. You associate items you need to remember with specific locations in a familiar mental space, like rooms in your house. Then you mentally walk through the space to recall the information in order.
That sounds complex but powerful.
It leverages our very strong innate spatial memory. These techniques illustrate a more deliberate internal approach to memory enhancement, focusing on how we structure information for better storage and retrieval within our own minds rather than just relying on external aids.
Okay, so we have external aids, internal techniques like mnemonics. What else is there globally?
Well, there's a much broader, deeply ingrained cultural tradition that moves beyond individual memory altogether, focusing instead on the collective. Storytelling.
Ah, storytelling is memory preservation.
In many cultures, storytelling serves as an absolutely vital method for preserving memory across generations. It's fundamental.
Yes, it's a profound contrast, isn't it? While some cultures focus on individual cognitive performance and external aids, many others prioritize the transmission of knowledge through oral traditions.
Think of the Australian Aboriginal songlines, for example. These are intricate oral maps, essentially. They weave ancestral stories, practical knowledge about the land, where to find water, food, and cultural laws into songs, passed down with immense precision over millennia.
Wow, so the songs are literally maps and history books combined.
In a very real sense, yes.
Yeah.
Or consider the griots in West Africa. These individuals are living libraries, respected historians and storytellers, meticulously memorizing centuries of oral tradition, history, genealogies, and cultural narratives.
An incredible feat of memory.
Absolutely. This highlights that memory isn't solely a biological function of an individual brain, but also a social and cultural construct. Through myths, legends, historical narratives, practical wisdom passed down through storytelling.
The culture remembers.
Exactly. These cultures ensure that the past informs the future, far beyond any single individual lifespan. It's a powerful, resilient form of collective memory. It ensures cultural values, historical knowledge, and practical wisdom are transmitted.
And probably with embedded mnemonic devices within the stories themselves, right? To help with the recall.
Often, yes. Rhyme, rhythm, repetition, vivid imagery, all mnemonic aids are frequently part of these traditions. This deep, shared form of remembrance means knowledge is less fragile, less dependent on a single individual's recall. It ensures continuity and identity for entire communities.
These cultural insights truly broaden our understanding of memory. It's not just what happens inside our individual heads, it's intertwined with community, history, and even survival.
It really is a much bigger picture.
And as we continue to deepen our understanding, it's helpful to expand our vocabulary even further, maybe with some more advanced concepts related to memory, to allow for an even more sophisticated conversation.
Indeed. Having the right terms helps clarify thinking. We've touched on recall before, but just to reinforce its meaning for this deeper understanding, it means to bring something back to mind, often with conscious effort.
Like, I can't quite recall where I saw her last. It's on the tip of my tongue. That searching feeling.
Exactly. It's that deliberate attempt at retrieval, that mental search.
And mnemonic, which we just discussed extensively, worth repeating.
Worth repeating that it's a trick or system to help remember. Just reiterating how effective these tools are in structuring information for easier access, essentially making information more sticky for your brain. The planet example, the memory palace, they really show the power of structuring information.
Okay. What about memory problems?
A more significant and often dramatic concept is amnesia, which is broadly the loss of memory.
We often see it portrayed quite dramatically in movies, right? In the movie, the character had amnesia after a head injury.
Yes, and often inaccurately or simplified. In reality, amnesia can take many forms and is far more complex. For example, psychologists distinguish between retrograde amnesia.
Retrograde, meaning?
Loss of memories formed before the onset of amnesia. So you forget past events, sometimes even fundamental things like who you are.
That sounds terrifying.
It can be. And then there's anterograde amnesia, which is the inability to form new memories after the event that caused it. Individuals might be perpetually stuck in a short window of time, unable to remember what happened minutes ago.
Like the movie Memento, perhaps.
That's a fictional portrayal, but it touches on the concept. Real anterograde amnesia profoundly impacts an individual's sense of self, their identity, and their daily life, making even simple tasks incredibly challenging.
Okay. And on a less dramatic but very common note, we have the word forgetful.
Ah, yes, forgetful.
This just describes someone who often forgets things, whether it's minor details or important appointments, like Grandpa's a little forgetful these days, sometimes misplacing his glasses.
Right. And this word covers a whole spectrum, doesn't it? From normal, mild, age-related forgetfulness, which is a natural part of aging for many.
Yeah, where did I put my reading glasses again?
Exactly. To potentially more significant signs that might warrant closer attention or a medical checkup. It shows how memory changes throughout our lifespan.
Okay. And finally, the intriguing concept of photographic memory. Does that actually exist?
Photographic memory. It's often described as this rare, almost miraculous ability to remember things in great detail, as if seeing a perfect picture in their mind.
Like, she has a photographic memory, she can recall every word on a page.
That's the popular idea. However, it's important to note that true photographic memory, or eidetic memory, as it's more formally known in scientific research, is incredibly rare, particularly in adults.
But for mostly kids, if at all.
It's reported more often in children, but even then it's rare and tends to fade. And its exact nature is still debated by scientists. Often, what appears to be photographic memory in adults is actually the result of highly developed memory techniques, intense focus, and vast amounts of practice. Think of memory athletes who can memorize decks of cards in seconds, or recall hundreds of digits.
They're not just photographing it.
No, they're typically using sophisticated mnemonic strategies like the memory palace or chunking techniques combined with incredible dedication and training. They've trained their brains using specific methods, not relying on some innate, magical, photographic ability.
So this more advanced vocabulary section truly gives us the tools to articulate more complex ideas about memory.
Right.
From its common impairments like forgetfulness or the devastation of amnesia to its extraordinary capabilities, whether through training or rare phenomena, and even lets us question common myths like photographic memory.
It encourages a deeper, more scientific understanding beyond just our everyday experiences with remembering and forgetting.
Absolutely. It helps us move from simply experiencing memory to analyzing it, appreciating its intricate mechanisms, and understanding both its limitations and its incredible potential.
Which is hopefully what this whole deep dive has helped foster.
Well, this deep dive has certainly explored a vast and fascinating landscape. We started by navigating those common, sometimes frustrating challenges of everyday memory.
Like misplacing those darn keys.
Exactly. Recognizing that these moments are actually rich sources of insight into how our minds work, and importantly, how we learn from them, developing those double or triple checks.
We then delved into the incredible precision and richness of the language we use to describe memory. From the core verbs like remember and forget to nuanced collocations like sharp memory or memory fades, and those expressive phrasal verbs like look back on or slip your mind.
Understanding how each term paints a clearer picture of recall and retention, and how our very language reflects our deep human understanding or maybe fascination with this faculty. And we explored practical strategies for improving our personal recall, noting how significant experiences, even stressful ones like forgetting a passport at the airport,
The stuff of nightmares.
can lead to powerful new habits that make our lives easier, effectively teaching our brains new ways to cope and prevent future mishaps.
Finally, we journeyed across cultures, contrasting the Western emphasis on individual memory aids and brain training apps with the profound role of collective memory, storytelling, and mnemonic traditions elsewhere.
Highlighting the diverse ways humanity has preserved and transmitted knowledge across generations, ensuring the past truly informs the future in ways that go far beyond one person's brain.
Hopefully, this understanding of the various facets of memory can truly empower you, the listener, to manage information more effectively in your own life.
Whether it's for work, study, or just navigating everyday living with maybe a little less frustration when those keys go missing.
This deep dive has truly stuck with me, and I hope it has with you too. Memory can certainly be tricky, can't it? Throwing curveballs when we least expect them.
Definitely.
But with continuous practice, maybe a bit of intentionality in how we pay attention and encode things, and a deeper understanding of its complex, often surprising mechanisms.
Like the reconstructive nature of it all.
Exactly. We can all significantly improve our ability to recall and retain information that matters to us.
Absolutely. Perhaps as a little reflective exercise, you might even consider writing down your own forgotten something important story, much like the ones we shared.
Good idea.
Reflect on the solution you found and the lasting lesson it taught you. Or simply, maybe just try observing your own memory processes over the next few days with this new awareness. Notice when your brain is encoding, retrieving, or perhaps simply letting something slip your mind.
You might be surprised by what you discover about your own mental habits. It's amazing what you can learn about your own mind when you start paying closer attention.
Indeed. Now, next time, our deep dive will explore a topic that touches our emotions, influences our moods, and has the incredible power to bring back memories all on its own.
I think I know where this is going.
We'll be talking about music.
Wonderful. Get ready for a harmonious deep dive.
Until then, stay sharp and stay curious.
Goodbye, everyone.